second. No, you didn't. Here we go. So it starts with left, take it to Here you go. 1, 2, just drums up front. 1, 2, 3, and. Cool. All right. September. Septiembre.
I believe in you, man.
Where did John put September?
I believe in you.
Here we go.
We got 5 measures at the beginning.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 2, 3, oh.
Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Hey, hey, hey.
One, 2, 3, hey-oh.
that ice cold. Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls. Straight masterpieces. Styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. I gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
For the police and the fireman, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
Make a dragon wanna retire, man, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
Say my name, you know who I am, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
And I'm bad about that money, break it down. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you.
Saturday night and we in the spot.
Don't believe it, just watch, come on. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch. Hey, oh.
Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some liquor in it. Take a sip, sound check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
For the police and the fireman, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
Like a dragon wanna retire, man, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
Say my name, you know who I am, I'm too hot.
Hot damn.
And I'm bad about that money, break it down. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Girls hitch, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you.
Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you.
Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Saturday night, we in the spot. Don't believe it, just watch. Come on. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
Oh, well, not all of it.
I'll do way better.
One, two, three.
Very superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious ladders about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck with the things in your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way. Hey, hey. Ooh, very superstitious. Wash your face and hands. Rid me of the problems. Do all that you can. Keep me in a daydream. Keep me going strong. You don't want to save me. Sad is my song. When you believe in things you don't understand that you suffer, superstition ain't the way. Hey, hey.
Well, please be seated first. Thank you to our pacemakers, Rowan SOM's choral group. This is perhaps the most exciting day, or it is the most exciting day of the academic year for us, the day we celebrate your accomplishments, our graduates, new scientists, new physicians, changing the world, transforming the world through greatness in healthcare. I'd like to welcome all of you to our graduation ceremony today. As you've heard, I'm Tom Cavalieri. I have the privilege of being the Dean of our School of Osteopathic Medicine and our graduate school as well. And it's my pleasure right now to introduce special guests who are here on the podium with us, and I thank them for joining us. First, representing Rowan University, and I'll ask you to hold applause until I'm done introducing the guests. Representing Rowan University is our provost, Dr. Jim Newell. He's the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Representing the Rowan University Board of Trustees is Isabelita Abel. Representing senior deans from the Stratford campus, Dr. Carl Hock, Senior Associate Dean for Research and the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Linda Boyd, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Pam Bayshore, Associate Dean for Assessment, Dr. Vince DeRizio, Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs and Population Health, Dr. Joanne Kaiser-Smith, Associate Dean for Graduate Medical Education. I want to also acknowledge that we have here many members of the Dean's Cabinet. We have assistant deans, chairs, directors, and many of our faculty joining us here for this very special day. We have a number of very distinguished guests that I would like to point out. First is Dr. Ronald Ayers. You'll hear more about him later. He is our Rowan SOM Medal of Excellence recipient. Dr. Jennifer Caudle is our Distinguished Alumnus Award recipient for this year. Mr. Tamer, soon to be Dr. Rauf, President of the Class of 2019. Dr. John Bertinoli, immediate past President of Rowan SOM Alumni Association. Dr. Ira Manka, AOA Board Trustee and former SOM Alumni Association Chair. Dr. David Bullard, President of the New Jersey Association of Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons, and Colonel Lisa Howe, Deputy Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, New Jersey Department of Military and Veteran Affairs. We also have a number of our hospital partners that we rely on heavily to partner in medical education. First is Mr. Joseph Devine, President of Jefferson Health, New Jersey. Dr. Michael Juria, the Director of Medical Education of Inspira Medical Center. Dr. David Kuntz, Associate Dean of Hackensack Meridian School of Medicine at Seton Hall, and Co-Chief of Academic Officer for Hackensack Meridian Health. Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli, Co-President and Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs of Cooper Medical School of Rowan University, and Dr. Tony Sampanides, System Program Director and Director of Medical Education at CarePoint Health. And finally, I'd like to introduce our Grand Marshal for this year, Dr. Josh Corin, and the SOM Gonfalonier, Dr. Adarsh Gupta, and the GSBS Gonfalonier, Dr. Mikhail Anakan. Last but not least, there's one very important constituency group that's here that needs to be well recognized. So I'm going to ask our graduates to please rise to face the people most important in your life. That is your parents, your partners, your family, brothers and sisters, and please applaud them. This couldn't happen without them, so thank you. Now I'd like to invite our provost, Dr. Jim Newell, who would like to address you.
Oh, you haven't heard the talk yet. Let's not get carried away. So we finally got a sunny afternoon to do this. Yay. We were a little worried this morning. We're here to celebrate a time of great accomplishment and change. And I think if we're going to do that properly, we should reflect back a little bit on the same events that have happened with the university. I actually arrived at Rowan 21 years ago to help start the brand new College of Engineering. By 2009, the university had grown, the College of Engineering was thriving, but Rowan was still a relatively small regional place, a master's classified university with less than 10,000 students, with a reputation for engineering and education, but largely unknown beyond our borders. And then, in rapid succession, two very brave governors made major changes to higher education. At that time, there were no medical schools that were centered in universities in South Jersey. There was a third and fourth year degree program at Cooper Hospital, but for the first 2 years, students had to go to UMDNJ in the north. And the School of Osteopathic Medicine, which of course was in Stratford, was part of the UMDNJ system, again, still centered in the north. In 2009, Governor Corzine began the process that led to the creation of CMSRU, our allopathic medical school in Camden. And by 2013, when that school was ready to launch, within the same year, UMDNJ was dissolved by Governor Christie, and the crown jewel of that piece, the School of Osteopathic Medicine, came to Rowan University. It has had profound change on the region and the university. If you think about what happened, suddenly Rowan began to change as well. We went from no medical schools, master's classified 10,000 students, to 6 years later, having 20,000 students. We will graduate between SOM and CMSRU more than 220 new physicians today. And in a matter of that time, Rowan moved from master's classified to Research 3, now to Research 2. And going from Research 3 to Research 2 happened in a single year. I believe that is unprecedented in the history of education. And the two medical schools were key parts of that. And a key point to notice is that the two governors that I mentioned, one was a Democrat and one was a Republican, because the belief that medical care and access to education are not issues of political party, they are fundamental issues of human rights and human decency. And I applaud both of them for having the courage to step up and making that happen. There are still many challenges. In southern New Jersey, there is one higher education seat available for every 100 residents. In the country, that average is 1 for every 30 residents. In North Jersey, it's 1 for every 15. But we also recognize that we are pivotal in helping address problems that the state is facing more broadly. There is an enormous physician shortage, especially in the area of primary care. The figure that is often quoted is that by 2020, the state of New Jersey anticipates a shortfall of 3,000 physicians, almost 2,000 of which are expected to be in primary care. And as they look frantically for the solution, I see a huge part of it in front of me. The high-quality physicians that are produced at the School of Osteopathic Medicine. You should all be incredibly proud of what you have already accomplished and what you are going to do. And as you get ready to take that next step in your progression, I had the joy of celebrating Match Day with you. I never have seen such excited doctors in my life as you all learned where you were going. Well, that was a wonderful day. But as you start thinking about where you're coming, think about where you were just over 4 years ago. You were dealing with the stress of MCATs and trying to find your way into medical school. And you saw the same statistics about admissions rates that everybody else did. Then you came in and it was step 1 exams, step 2 exams, placements, all of the different pieces that you had to face. And now you are almost certainly forward looking to starting your rotations. But for the next couple of days, take a moment and look at what you've accomplished and realize how few people will ever get to where you are. And before you begin the endless nights and the challenges that are going to face you, really celebrate your incredible accomplishments. You have been pivotal in changing this university. You are going to be pivotal in changing healthcare in the region and beyond. We could not be more proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Jim, thank you very much for those important words of support. And I just want to say that as Dean, we feel at SOM so very supported by Jim Newell, our provost, and Dr. Hushman, our president. And we're thankful that our success continues in large part because of the support we receive. As Dean, I'd like to take a few minutes to address our graduates, talk a little bit to our graduate school graduates first, and then our SOM grads. So members of the class of 2019, graduates of SOM and GSBS, it has really been a privilege to serve as your dean and to get to know you, such a group of dynamic, intelligent, motivated, compassionate men and women that I think speak to the bright future that healthcare has and research. I've said many times, and the students have heard me say this, particularly the SOM students, that you are the heart of the school. Your selfless approach to learning, medicine, and science, and giving back has truly been inspirational. Some people say to me, well, what keeps you going? Well, I'll tell you, it's the energy that I get from seeing the enthusiasm and the commitment and the idealism and the desire to serve and to make the world a better place that I see in our students that is fuel to go on. And I'm thankful for that. Your contributions to the school, to our communities, and one another are remarkable and in some cases transformative. I have to say, during the past few years, we saw in this class how many of you, in times of challenge, came together and created an environment to support each other through the challenging times. To our master's and PhD graduates, an integral part of the school's mission is excellence in research and innovation. As scientists, you seek to advance innovation and discovery to improve health and solve the medical challenges of today and the future. Your collective achievements in research at the graduate school are a testament of this achievement. You have worked with many of our scientists to unravel the mysteries of life, searching for new treatments that will restore and maintain good health. For years, you have studied, assisted, and supported faculty and students in their labs and performed research while attending class in the evening. You have made countless personal sacrifices in the pursuit of your goals. For 2019, we have a total of 61 graduates from our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Our PhD students are graduating with, on average, 2 publications and 2 awards, and all 3 PhD graduates in attendance today were recruited as members of the GSBS Society of Research Scholars. Today, we celebrate your achievements as you join more than 700 alumni of our graduate school who have contributed new knowledge to the biomedical discipline. As you continue, whether in academic or industrial scientific research or by continuing your education, your solid foundation in biomedical research will guide you throughout your career. Now, to our medical school graduates, we are so grateful to the contributions of the class of 2019, which have enriched SOM in so many ways. This class is an amazing class with many distinctions. In this class, for example, there are 4 first-generation college students. There are also first-generation immigrants from India, Taiwan, Egypt, Jamaica, Korea, Poland, and Russia. In this class, we have so many that have given back locally in the communities we serve, improving health initiatives, but also through international medical missions, including Ghana, the Dominican Republic, Peru, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Ecuador, Guatemala, and China. In this class, we have a student who, prior to completing medical school, at the age of 21, led a brigade of 51 Marines, many who went on to serve in the military mission to Afghanistan. And in this class, we have a group of student leaders who led the effort to promote and implement Rowan SOM's first bone marrow drive, which successfully added more than 200 new potential donors to the Be The Match registry. In this class, we have a student who was awarded first place in the A. Hollis Wolf competition hosted at the Student American Academy of Osteopathy Conference, a very competitive award to win. In this class, we have many competitive athletes, including a former professional snowboarder and Olympic hopeful who competed at the highest level of competition in the World Cup Tour. And finally, in this class, we know that the students have celebrated and experienced many life-changing events, including marriages, engagements, and births. At the same time, many students have faced significant adversity during medical school. Collectively and individually, this class demonstrated tremendous resilience and came together during difficult times to support one another when help was needed. They also created peer-to-peer wellness communities for students to share struggles and provide support. We are so very proud of all of you and your many achievements, your accolades in academics, research, and community service. Well, today, graduates, you join thousands of other osteopathic physicians who, as you've been taught, care for the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. As SOM-trained doctors, you embody the most humbling and fulfilling parts of our shared professional mission: to heal, to comfort, to care, and to affirm the dignity of each person you will treat. The well-known physician prayer, I think, says it all. Give skill to my hands, a clear vision to my mind, kindness and sympathy to my heart. Give me singleness of purpose and a strength to lift at least a part of the burden of the suffering of humanity and a true realization of the rare privilege that is mine. Well, truly, the future holds this rare privilege and special privilege that will soon be yours. But with this privilege comes a great, great responsibility. The responsibility will be articulated in the osteopathic oath, which you will shortly take, and I want you to ponder each of those words in the oath. This oath is a covenant of trust between you and the patients you will serve, and it's a covenant that should repeat itself with each patient you see. It is a commitment to protect and preserve the life and the health of the patients entrusted to your care. As we honor all our graduates, I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to acknowledge those whose contributions were essential in helping our students arrive at this wonderful day of celebration. To our faculty, we are fortunate to have some of the finest physicians and scientists who are dedicated to educating future physicians in health and science. I am very grateful to the commitment they have to advancing our mission here at Rowan SOM. We thank you, our faculty, for your continued commitment to education, to patient care, and to research at the SOM and the Graduate School. and your efforts will be reflected in the wonderful achievements of our graduates and alumni for many, many years to come. And of course, I'd like to offer a special thanks to the family, to the parents, the spouses, the loved ones. We know they couldn't make it without you, and we know that you share very much with the graduates in their success. You've been there through some very challenging times. We know that. So members of the class of 2019, on behalf of the SOM, GSBS, faculty, staff, administration, please accept our congratulations on your accomplishments and best wishes for your continued success as you embark on the next phase of your professional careers. Congratulations. Now I'd like to present the Distinguished Alumnus Award, who is someone well known to you. The Alumnus Award recognizes a graduate who has brought honor to the Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine. For 2019, we proudly present this award to Dr. Jennifer Caudle. She is a member of the class of 2005, and this is in recognition for her national reputation as a media spokesperson, helping to educate the public on topics related to healthcare, medicine, and scientific research. Dr. Caudle, will you please come forward? Congratulations. While still a medical student, I can call her Jen, I taught her, right?
Yes, you did.
Jen traveled to dozens of area schools to deliver programs on bullying, a topic she is passionate about. By the time she graduated SOM, Dr. Caudle had brought her anti-bullying program to thousands of area children. It was also during medical school that Dr. Caudle began to singularly-handed, she developed the skills that today she routinely displays during her on-air appearances. As a faculty member, Dr. Caudle quickly established a reputation as a tireless educator and an inspirational mentor to so many of our medical students. She maintains a very active and high-quality clinical practice. She directs the third-year family medicine clerkship program, and she lectures nationally to physician groups, all while making close to a dozen media appearances each month. Dr. Jen, as she's known, and I understand Dr. Oz is very nervous, is that right?
I don't know about that.
Dr. Jen, as she's known on air, is one of the most visible physicians in America. She is a regular on-air health expert for local and national news networks, including the Today Show, the Dr. Oz Show, CNN, Fox News, the Rachel Ray Show, the Steve Harvey Show, Fox 29, Philadelphia, PBS, and many others. She has presented expert medical information and advice on dozens of topics, including allergies, the flu, smoking and vaping, diet and nutrition, medical myths, acid reflux, managing stress, etc., all aimed at providing education to improve the quality of life in this nation. Her health articles have been published in the Daily Beast, CNN.com, DrOz.com, ABCnews.com, etc. Dr. Caudle is also a spokesperson for the American Osteopathic Association, a radio and video host for ReachMD, and a national lecturer on opioid prescribing for physicians. She also presents workshops on health, wellness, and motivation to companies and organizations, and lectures on the topic of childhood bullying to hospitals and healthcare organizations. With her platform as a recognized medical expert, Dr. Caudle's work to advance and elevate osteopathic medicine on the national stage is immeasurable. Her efforts and success inspire not only SOM students, but young people everywhere who aspire to a career in medicine. Dr. Caudle, we proudly present this honor to you for your great leadership and exemplary service as a clinician, teacher, mentor, and advocate for the osteopathic profession and the health of the nation. Jen, congratulations. I hope many of you someday will be up here with that award. I know some of you will. Anyway, each year, the Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine presents the Medal of Excellence to an individual who has made outstanding contributions to our school, to our profession, and to the nation. This year's honoree, Dr. Ronald Ayers, has had an illustrious career in the field of obstetrics and gynecology, and his experience and accomplishments are inseparable from the distinguished history of our school. Dr. Ayers, Ron, can you please come forward? Come on, In 1979, Dr. Ayers began a 20-year association with SOM, serving as a clinical associate professor who trained both medical students and residents in women's health issues. 2 decades later, he accepted a position as a full-time faculty member, becoming the chair of our Department of OBGYN. As chair of that department, a title that he held for 10 years, Dr. Ayers established a well-deserved reputation as a doctor's doctor, widely recognized for his clinical expertise, integrity, and commitment to the school and his profession. Ron, I think you delivered my first child, right? Mary. The high regard in which he is held by his colleagues is exemplified by the important clinical and administrative roles he's filled at SOM's primary teaching hospital. At the former Kennedy Hospital, now Jefferson Health, New Jersey, Dr. Ayers served in a variety of essential capacities, including chief of OBGYN, chief of the medical staff, and a 25-year tenure on the hospital's medical executive board. In 2010, Dr. Ayers stepped down as department chair at SOM and retired in 2013. Several years later, not too much later, he graciously came back out of retirement and returned to lead the department as chair after the position suddenly became vacant. During his tenure as chair, he faced some challenging times, but he was able to establish stability within the department. He strengthened the department's commitment to teaching medical students, he recruited additional faculty, and he served as the program director for our OBGYN residency and provided the leadership for it to receive initial accreditation from the Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education. On a national level, Dr. Ayers has served as both vice president and then president of the American College of Osteopathic Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and as the chair of the American Osteopathic Association's Bureau of Osteopathic Specialists. In these positions, his contributions assured high-quality care for women, even nationally. In recognition for his long-standing commitment to our school, his national leadership and advocacy for osteopathic medicine, his dedication to excellence in the health of women and children, and his training and mentorship of countless osteopathic physicians who pursued careers in obstetrics and gynecology, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2019 SOM Medal of Excellence Award to Dr. Ronald Ayers.
Thank you, Chris.
Let me take a picture first.
Sure.
I want to meet that guy. He sounds pretty interesting. Wow. It's always dangerous for Dr. Cavalieri to give someone like myself the podium. You know, I'm so used to lecturing for 45 minutes. But in the wisdom of Dr. Cavalieri, there's no screen, there's no projector, there's no clicker. I can't talk. So therefore, I have a very short thing of thank you for this award that I just can't believe. Dr. Cavalieri, Dr. Hushman, who unfortunately is unable to join us, but he's the president of the Rowan University, honored guests, colleagues, graduates of the Osteopathic School of Osteopathic Medicine and Biomedical Science graduates, families, and friends. The possibility of ever receiving such an award was the furthest thought in the mind of the young man from the hills of western Pennsylvania, who made the audacious decision to become a doctor. How could he ever realize such a dream when his parents could not afford to send him to college, let alone off into medical school? And yet, somehow, through the grace of God, each obstacle was met with determined persistence, and the next part of the dream realized. Now, when I look back over the past 50 years, I stand grateful and even amazed that this osteopathic profession afforded so many opportunities to me to learn, to serve, and to lead. I thank God every day for the privilege of caring for His most precious creation and for the opportunity to share my experience and expertise with future generations of physicians like those who are graduating today. Graduates, I challenge you to first care diligently for your patients, but also to give generously back to your profession by mentoring, teaching, and serving wherever and whenever you are given the opportunity. Dr. Cavalieri, I am honored and humbled to receive this award. Thank you for the confidence you placed in me to lead the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology through these challenging days of change. I also owe thanks to my wife, Ruth Ann, who has always been there to support me each step along the journey. Even though I will be on the sideline from now on, I'll be watching with great interest as the Rowan School of Osteopathic Medicine thrives during the coming years and increases its impact on our region. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and congratulations, graduates. I am Dr. Linda Boyd, the Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, and it is now my pleasure to announce the Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Awards, presented by the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, presented today by Dean Thomas Cavalieri, and we have two recipients, one student and one faculty. The student recipient is Dr. Courtney Quarter, and the faculty recipient is Dr. Kevin Overbeck. Congratulations. Wait for a picture. Courtney. The Dean's Outstanding Achievement Award is given to the graduate with the highest overall academic achievement. The 2019 Dean's Award will be presented by Dr. Cavalieri, goes to Angela Carasina. The President's Award honors the graduate who has excelled in the classroom and in the community. The 2019 President's Award, which will be presented by Dr. Jim Newell, goes to Tara Beck. At this time, I would like to recognize all the award recipients for SOM and GSBS. They are listed in the program and have been recognized at a previous ceremony. I will ask these graduates to please stand at this time for recognition. Congratulations on your achievements. You may be seated.
Now I'm pleased to introduce a special portion of our program to honor and celebrate our military graduates who will be promoted in the military. We thank you for your service and sacrifice and applaud your great work for our profession and for our country to provide medical services to our armed forces both at home and abroad. I invite Colonel Lisa Howe to the lectern at this time for her military commissioning ceremony. Dr. Howe is a Rowan SOM graduate, and she is the 2018 Distinguished Alumna Award recipient. A New Jersey Army National Guard veteran, and she serves as the Deputy Commissioner of Veterans Affairs for New Jersey's Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, and we are very proud of her. I also at this time invite our military students to come forward. Mary Eliso, U.S. Air Force, and Carl Swanson, U.S. Army Reserve.
Thank you, Dr. Cavalieri, for the invitation to return to administer the military oath of office. I'd first like to congratulate all the graduates on such an amazing accomplishment. And for the SOM graduates, you've worked hard to become a provider for the healthcare needs of our communities, and we recognize the provision of healthcare of any free society requires a measure of selfless service. In keeping with the ethos of selfless service, it is truly an honor to welcome young new physicians into the armed services as a valuable member of the less than 1% of the American population who currently serve. You are part of a distinguished group of professionals whose philanthropic ideals have propelled you towards the pursuit of the most honorable service to your country. I'd also like to take this time to recognize those who have served and sacrificed and paved the way for us. And may I ask that all veterans in the audience please stand. Thank you for your service and for being part of the less than 5% of the American population who have ever served. So at this time, I'd like to ask our young officers to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mary Oyokoya Ileso,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Colonel Howe, and congratulations again to Mary and to Carl. And now I invite the class of 2019 President, Tamer Raouf, to the lectern to present the Golden Apple Awards and student remarks.
I'm really nervous. Good afternoon. I'd like now to also invite the class of 2019 Vice President Brian Sun-woo to please join me at the lectern. Each year, the graduating class presents the Golden Apple Awards to the full-time and volunteer faculty members who had the greatest impact on the students' medical education. Candidates are nominated by the members of the class, followed by an online ballot to select the recipients. To present these recipients is our Vice President, Brian Sun-woo.
It is now our pleasure to announce the recipients of the 2019 Golden Apple Awards. The full-time faculty Golden Apple Award recipient is Dr. James White. The volunteer faculty Golden Apple Award recipient is Dr. Gerald Feigen. Sorry.
Thanks. I hope I made medical school a little more pleasant when I was able to share my knowledge with all of you. All of you who were there with me know how I feel about it. I thought it sucked, but I'm glad I can make it suck a little less for you, so congratulations.
Shake it out. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to my esteemed colleagues, the members of the dais, faculty, staff, fellow students, friends, and family. My name is Tamer Raouf. I've had the privilege of being the class president for the class of 2019 for 3 of the past 4 years. As such, it is my honor to speak to you today on this momentous occasion. But before I begin, I'd like to congratulate my fellow students and also thank our families, our friends, professors, deans, and all the Rowan staff who made this day possible. We would not be here without your years of support. Thank you all. As I sat down to prepare my remarks for today, I thought a good place to start would be by asking my mother for some advice. She responded so quickly, it seemed like she'd already had a speech written down. So here goes. My mom is the best mom. I owe it all to her, and the whole class should be thankful that she gave me to you. End of speech. So that was great, but I had a little more time to fill, so I thought I could outsource the writing with an idea I borrowed from my brother's med school graduation 2 years ago. His graduation speaker used lines from the essays that students had attached to their applications to medical school, picking out sentences he liked and just copying and pasting things together to form a speech that kind of captured the spirit of their class. So I thought I could steal the same idea, save myself some trouble in the doing. So all I had to do was a little copy and paste, and your words would become the perfect speech. So here goes. Copyright UWorld. Please do not save, print, cut, copy, or paste anything while a test is active. For those of you who didn't get that joke, ask the graduates, they'll explain it. But that didn't work either. So then I had the idea to take this opportunity to get a couple of confessions off of my chest. It's supposed to be therapeutic. First and foremost, I have to say, finally, that my career at Rowan SOM started with a bold prediction that unfortunately fell a bit short. During my interview, I remember telling Dr. Cooley that I would be the most motivated student Rowan SOM has ever seen. And after 4 years studying alongside the students sitting in front of you, I can say without a doubt that that was not true. Not because I didn't try, but because these students in front of you are some of the most focused, diligent, and dedicated people I've ever known. I can say wholeheartedly that my experience at Rowan SOM would be fundamentally different without the memories of KB sitting at that same computer desk on the second floor and Sultan skulking through the library for 6 months prepping for boards. And I'm glad to have been alongside you guys during that experience. In addition to challenging me to be the best student I could be, being around you all has taught me to be comfortable with not being the most knowledgeable person in the room. Throughout our careers, we're going to find ourselves in that difficult position quite a lot. But if you can remember humility, you can learn from your peers. And if you remember that medicine is a team sport and not a competition, you can realize that you don't need to see anyone else's expertise as a challenge, but rather take advantage of your colleagues' skills to help you care for your patients. A second confession. I didn't really expect to have the amazing experiences here that I did when I'd started school. I had graduated from college, worked and lived in New York for 5 years, supported myself for some time. Basically, I'd had a little life behind me already. I figured I would treat school like I did work. I'd show up, get a degree, go back to my old life, kind of pick up where I left off, just with a new job. So imagine my surprise when I found myself nearing graduation, trying to stretch the days as much as I could before we had to leave this place forever. Imagine looking forward to a mandatory lecture discussing the hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt that I had incurred, because it meant that we would all be together one more time. I'd put off completing paperwork for my residency because it might feel like we were all together here for a little bit longer. So to all you people, excuse me. So to all you people who blindsided me with your caring, your generosity, your intelligence, and your humor, that made this experience something I won't walk away from so easy, I say thank you. One last confession. I am older than many of my fellow students. I was older when we started school, and now 4 years later, I am somehow still older. You might think, Tamara, that's not a confession, that's just a statement of fact. But considering how often some of my classmates tease me about my age, calling me dad, or if my beard got a little scruffy, sometimes stretching it to granddad, I thought I should weigh in and say, I know, I am aware of my age. But let me share something. A few years of experience can give you more than gray hairs. I've learned over my life, and looking back to when we started this journey in 2015, I'm sure many of you have noticed how quickly the years can fly by. A quote from my favorite book, Catch-22. Do you know how long a year takes when it's going away? This long. A second ago, you were stepping into college with your lungs full of fresh air. A half minute ago, you were stepping into high school. Only a fifth of a second before that, you were a small kid with a 10-week summer vacation that lasted 100,000 years and still ended too soon. They go rocketing by so fast. So take this advice from one of your elders. Pay attention. These 4 years have gone by in an instant. We're about to graduate and start our residencies, and that will be over before we know it too. Then onto the wonderful careers I know we will have, and I know you guys have all earned. And if you don't remember to enjoy the days every now and again, you might not notice. Try to think of how many days like today you get in your life. It's true, life is long, but how many times will you be in one place, surrounded by your dear friends, with your family and your mentors there to support you, to celebrate your achievements? 3, 5 if you're lucky? How many days in your life will you get out of work early and get to rush home to spend some time with your loved ones? Not enough. So when you get a day worth remembering, when you notice you're happy, exclaim or murmur or think at some point, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. So with that, I'll leave you. And tell you all one last time that it's been my honor. It's been my honor to serve as your class president. Thank you again to all of the teachers, administrators, and staff who made this possible. Thank you to my parents, without whom this wouldn't have happened. My brother and sister, my family, my grandmother, my girlfriend, and my friends. We did something incredible, and it is indeed a beautiful day to enjoy. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is.
Thank you very much, Tamara, for the wonderful comments and the strong leadership that you have given over the years. At this time, I'd ask the faculty members and our DO candidates to rise and recite the osteopathic oath along with me. Please recite the osteopathic oath found on page 15 of your program booklet. I do hereby affirm my loyalty to the profession I am about to enter. I will be mindful always of my great responsibility to preserve the health and life of my patients, to retain their confidence and respect both as a physician and a friend, who will guard their secrets with scrupulous honor and fidelity, to perform faithfully my professional duties, to employ only those recognized methods of treatment consistent with good judgment and with my skill and ability, keeping in mind nature's laws and the body's inherent capacity for recovery. I will be ever vigilant in aiding the general welfare of the community, sustaining its laws and institutions, not engaging in those practices which in any way bring shame or discredit upon myself or my profession. I will give no drugs for deadly purposes to any person, though at the ask of me. I will endeavor to work in accord with my colleagues in a spirit of progressive cooperation and never, by word or by act, cast imputations upon them or their rightful practices. I will look with respect and esteem upon all those who have taught me my art. To my college, I will be loyal and strive always for its best interest and for the interests of the students who will come after me. I will be ever alert to further the application of basic biologic truths to the healing arts and develop the principles of osteopathy, which were first enunciated by Andrew Taylor Still. Okay, you could be seated. Before we begin the reading of the graduate names, I'd like to invite Dr. Jim Newell back to the podium as our provost. Jim?
As you know, this past Saturday, we held our campus-wide commencement event here on the main campus to celebrate Rowan's bachelor's, master's, educational specialist, doctoral, and medical degree candidates. It was during this event that President Hushmand, Mr. Chad Bruner, the chair of the Rowan University Board of Trustees, and I officially certified today's doctoral and master's degree candidates as having completed all of the requirements for graduation. With that, the School of Osteopathic Medicine and Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences graduates were conferred the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Biomedical Science, and Master of Science degrees with all the rights, privileges, responsibilities, and obligations of that degree. Congratulations to each of you.
Thank you, Jim. It's time to proceed to the presentation of graduates from the School of Osteopathic Medicine and the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Each of our graduates will be called individually by program. I would like to ask all family members and guests to remain in their seats so that you will not obstruct the view of others. A professional photographer will take photos of our students. Also, you are welcome to take photos in front of the platform stage at the conclusion of the ceremony. We will start with the master's candidates in the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Steve Seidler, who will read the names of the master's candidates.
Presenting the candidates for the Master of Biomedical Science, Graduate School of Biomedical Science. Adeshua Adewusi. Tamid Ahmad. Chelsea Amifuna. Janae Bell. Emily Bucher. Katie Rose Clune. Jennifer Ihala. Ovi Enaho. Lauren Ann Healy. Roberto Iozia. Esther Garcelle Jean-Baptiste. Zamin Kazmi. Amani Mohammed. Jennifer Diana Nunez. Olake Olamiju. Latifa Olawar. Catherine Mary O'Shea. Sahil Parikh. Ashni Patel. Allison Quirk. Christina Shah. Anthony Starr. Stephen Starr. Dalis Tejeda. Presenting the candidates for the Master of Science, Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Master of Science in Histopathology, Leanne Adolfi. James Jarrett. Erica Smargizzo. Kevin Tran. Master of Science in Molecular Pathology and Immunology, Michael Ingling. Presenting the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Cell and Molecular Biology, Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Dr. Gabrielle Hillman. Dr. Julia Jones. Dr. Jennifer Romer Siebert. Presenting the candidates for the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, School of Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. Angela Carasino. Dr. Tara Beck. Dr. Mary Eleso. Dr. Carl Swanson. Dr. Carlos Abadir. Dr. Kassara Ackerman. Dr. Justin Adibi. Dr. Kimberly Agbo. Dr. Shruti Alawat. Dr. Katerina Aiello. Dr. Carl Buto Alexandri. Dr. Hassan Ali. Dr. Muhammad Ali. Dr. Sundus Arif. Dr. Nina Axiotakis. Dr. Ali Baer. Dr. Malika Bayreddy. Dr. Pooja Banginwar. Dr. Joseph Banta. Dr. Arm Bayomi. Dr. Melanie Beck. Dr. Christopher Becampus. Dr. Mark Bell. Dr. Matthew Berlin. Dr. Sonali Bishnoi. Dr. Michael Bourne. Dr. Nicole Caltabiano. Dr. Gregory Carlisle. Dr. Margaret Chow. Dr. Chen-Rong Chen. Dr. Maria Chen. Dr. James Cerrone. Dr. Patrick Correa. Dr. Jay Darji. Dr. Sheila DeYoung. Dr. Megan Dundarski. Dr. Travis Downey. Dr. Matthew Everwine. Dr. Matthew Feta. Dr. Jenna Feldman. Dr. Dominic Filangeri. Dr. Jegan Gabadon. Dr. Sarah Gabros. Dr. Mira Gad. Dr. Mehar Guy. Dr. Ari Goldwasser. Dr. Ryan Graham. Dr. James Gubitosa. Dr. Syed Haider. Dr. Ashna Holly. Dr. Joshua Hall. Dr. Kevin Hess. Dr. Evan Hodge. Dr. Mary Hoyle. Dr. Gregory Holland. Dr. Matthew Holtzberg. Dr. Rebecca Houston. Dr. Yunus Hussein. Dr. Joseph Ifrak. Dr. Tamur Ilyas. Dr. Amar Ingravera. Dr. Rebecca Itzkovich. Dr. Katarzyna Yahimovska. Dr. Nikhil Jain. Dr. Paul Jang. Dr. Kaylet C. Jenkins. Dr. Nicholas Johnson. Dr. Jared Jones. Dr. Gabriella Calden. Dr. Sunny Kapoor. Dr. Mariam Cosme. Dr. Ashley Kiefer. Dr. Stephen Kelly. Dr. Jacob Kellner. Dr. Arhum Khan. Dr. Sultan Kawam. Dr. Do Young Kim. Dr. Eunice Kim. Dr. Ashley Kuntz. Dr. Aaron Lawler. Dr. Christopher Lesniak. Dr. Rebecca Lopez. Dr. Jeffrey Lynch. Dr. Soumya Mandikanda. Dr. Maxim Marshalik. Dr. Chan Marvania. Dr. Stephanie Misderi Piela. Dr. Monica Mistry. Dr. Joseph Maleska. Dr. Devas Modi. Dr. Ananda Nanduri. Dr. Michael Nicholson. Dr. Caitlin Olderwirtle. Dr. Frank Oliver. Dr. Ya Owusu Banahene. Dr. Jared Pastor. Dr. Dayani Patel. Dr. Manali Patel. Dr. Nisha Patel. Dr. Paris Patel. Dr. Parita Patel. Dr. Pooja Patel. Dr. Pracy Patel. Dr. Pooja Patel. Dr. Ruchi Patel. Dr. Shivani Patel. Dr. Christian Pecoraro. Dr. Eric Peterson. Dr. Olutosin Quadri. Dr. Erica Rabinovich. Dr. Vijay Raj. Dr. Ajay Rashekar. Dr. Sana Rashid. Dr. Sana Riaz. Dr. Sharana Ridor. Dr. Luisa Fernandez Rodriguez. Dr. Sonkesula Sagar. Dr. Bilal Saif. Dr. Jacob Sachs. Dr. Mubashir Salim. Dr. Patrick Schaefer. Dr. Robert Selko. Dr. Rodney Senna. Dr. Michelle Shah. Dr. Neil Shah. Dr. Ganet Shalan. Dr. Leonard Show. Dr. Melanie Silva. Dr. Jeffrey Smith. Dr. Alex Spirolari. Dr. Brian Sunwoo. Dr. Hassan Tahir. Dr. Diana Vargas. Dr. Benjamin Walsh. Dr. Chen Ching Wang. Dr. Zachary Weismer. Dr. Amanda Woodford. Dr. Melissa Yu. Dr. Jacob Zaslavsky. Dr. Julian Atis. Dr. Preeti Kamath. Dr. David Leong. Dr. Samantha McMahon. Dr. Angels Wynn. Dr. Kimyetta Robinson. Dr. Courtney Corder. Dr. Tamer Raouf. Way to go.
Good. Good afternoon, doctors. So I'm Dr. John Bertignoli, immediate past president of the Rowan SOM Alumni Association. On behalf of Rowan SOM Alumni Association, your Alumni Association, please accept our congratulations to you, America's newest physicians and researchers. From this day forward, those of you receiving your DO or PhD degree will now share the same first name, Doctor. And as you leave here today, all of you from SOM and GSBS alike will be stepping across the threshold of your dreams. Those dreams were built on many sleepless nights of study, fueled by countless cups of caffeine. I know that you have, without a doubt, earned every accolade you received today. Like you, I'm a graduate of this world-class school, 1983, so I am well prepared that you will do well in the future. As a faculty member, I know how talented and dedicated you are. I'm not sure if that's the sun shining in my eyes or the brightest of the bright. Let the dreams you held when you first arrived at SOM be your guide to live the life you imagined for yourself. Continue to pursue learning and achievement, and cherish the camaraderie and fellowship of your Alumni Association. As the immediate past president of the Alumni Association, I have one simple message: keep in touch. When the time is right for you, get involved and stay involved. As alumni, you have an opportunity to reach across and engage generations of physicians and researchers who will follow in your footsteps. Your involvement will undoubtedly enrich others, but it will also enrich your own life. Help those future physicians and researchers to go confidently in the direction of their dreams, and yes, make this world a better, healthier place. It is now my distinct honor to induct the class of 2019 into the Rowan University and Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine Alumni Associations. You have just been inducted. Congratulations. And one last word. Remember, we are DOs. We go out and touch the world. Thanks, John, for your wonderful words to our graduates and also all you do for our Alumni Association. Now, I'd like to end with just a final lesson for our graduates. And this actually comes from Harrison's. Principles of Internal Medicine. I know you know it inside out. But this was from the very first edition in 1950. This is evidence-based information that I want you to carefully listen to. No greater opportunity, responsibility, or obligation can fall to the lot of a human being than to become a physician. In the care of the suffering, the physician needs technical skill, scientific knowledge, and human understanding. The physician who uses these with humility and wisdom will provide a unique service to humanity and will build an enduring edifice of character within. The physician should ask of destiny nothing more than this and should be content with nothing less. Congratulations, this great class, and may God bless you. This concludes our ceremony. The audience is requested to remain in place until the platform has recessed. A reception will follow at the marketplace in the Chamberlain Student Center. Shuttles to the Student Center or the parking lots are available for those who need them in parking lot R at the back of the green. Golf carts for guests with special needs are available in parking lot Y next to the baseball field. Staff guides will assist you who walk to the Chamberlain Student Center, a short distance from here, just across from Route 322. Will everyone please rise for the alma mater and remain standing for the recession?
Praise to thy name, thy banner unfurled to the breeze. Thy children salute thee and pledge to thy fame. The resounding voices thee praise. All about thee arise the first temples of God, lifting high leafy arms to the sky, and the flowers that bloom in the green of the sod seem to sing thee a sweet lullaby. to see. Sit yourself down and take a seat. All you gotta do is repeat after me. It's easy, that's simple to do.